Hey, good Wednesday morning, everyone. BAM weather meteorologist Matt Griffin here with your latest Illinois local forecast update. Currently recording this video around 5:11 a.m. Central Time. I hope everyone's doing well out there this morning. I want to go ahead and get into it, guys. Obviously, the forecast here is going to be pretty short-term heavy, and then I think we can have some more quieter stretches as we get into especially Friday here, and then we'll eye a potential cluster. I'll touch on that cluster, especially for some of us into western and southwestern Illinois getting into the weekend here. But getting right into things this morning, guys, we have some showers and thunderstorms ongoing into northern Illinois this morning. Like Kirk mentioned, that was going to be possible, but definitely overachieving for sure this morning with some of these storms. In fact, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in the just north of the Chicago metro area. A couple of these storms have special weather statements on them, which means they're not necessarily severe warned, but just below that severe criteria. So keep that in mind if you're in around the Chicago area this morning. Some of these storms could pack a punch, some strong wind gusts, and even some small hail, and some locally some heavy rain as well. In fact, if we take a look at kind of the past 24-hour rainfall accumulations, obviously we'll continue to add on to this, but you can see some heavier amounts, some hit and miss here across northern Illinois. You know, half inch approaching an inch already. So I think that'll continue to be the theme with some of these thunderstorms. Being able to produce locally a half inch, inch and a half this morning into northern Illinois. Now, if we take a look at some simulated radar guidance as far as that is concerned this morning, and the ingredients do run out. These are moving into a less favorable environment, so I would anticipate the further off to the east and south these work, the more they'll struggle here. And the model that's doing the best this morning is a model called the HRRR. It's not doing perfect, but you can see it's got these storms right now as I bring this out towards about the 7 a.m. time frame. You know, so over the next, 2 hours, would anticipate continued weakening. But notice there's still some of these specks showing up here, northern Illinois towards Chicago, near the Rockford area. So still something I would say, scattered to isolate as far as showers and thunderstorm activity, I think continue to remain possible. And you'll notice even as I bring this out towards about the 9 a.m. time frame, still areas near Rockford towards Freeport still need to watch that risk there before I think things can quiet down into the morning. And again, if we take a look at the rainfall totals, the exact placement's not perfect. I think you could shift this a little bit to the east, some of these totals here, but any of these storms this morning, half inch to an inch, I think as we progress later into the morning, I would anticipate these to become less and less intense. So keep that in mind, at least out throughout the morning hours of today. Now, as far as the simulated radar guidance getting into the system upcoming tonight here, there's still a little bit of uncertainty here. I think as we do progress throughout the day today, I think we see plenty of drier times. The exception is we'll need to watch far northern Illinois closer towards the Wisconsin border as we do get near that 3 to 5 p.m. time frame. I can't rule out something isolated into the afternoon hours of some upper level energy moving overhead, so keep that in mind this afternoon. Something isolated northern Illinois can't be ruled out, but take a look at what we're dealing with as we head into the overnight here. There's going to be a storm cluster which gets its act together off to our north. And, I think the bulk of the coverage and impacts of the storm system will be to our north. However, I'm concerned that we could still see areas, especially into northern, northeastern Illinois, get clipped by the system, and still some heavy rain and some stronger storms, especially strong wind gusts, will be possible here. So, this is the preferred model guidance. As of now, keep in mind a little bit lower confidence on the exact placements of the storm, better storm potential heading later into this evening here. But here's a look as we get closer to 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Notice these storms kind of moving from north to south, especially Rockford to Chicago, even towards Kankakee. Some of these storms here moving off to the south, and just because of the timing of it and where the overall ingredients are setting up, I think things can weaken as we head into the morning. Here's a look as we get closer towards about the 7 a.m. time frame, and we'll continue to see this boundary kind of continue to shift off to the south and things quieting down into Thursday morning. Would not be shocked if maybe we can have some activity hang around a little bit longer than what this guidance suggests. Can't rule that out. This is one of the things we'll have to fine-tune here into the afternoon forecast. But as we get into the afternoon, guys, as this is a look as we get closer towards the 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and 3 p.m. time frame, where there's going to be a boundary here stretched across central portions of the state. So at least into the early afternoon, you need to be on the lookout for something isolated here. And you can see this model as I bring it out later into the evening. It really starts to get things going closer towards, I would say, just south of Springfield. Again, maybe this could fire up a county or two to the north, or maybe even to the south. One of the features, one of the details, what the fine-tune here. But again, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., moving from north to south, especially into the afternoon. Some of these storms, I think a little bit overdone in coverage here, but Still, scattered storms into southern Illinois will be possible, and a few of these storms could be stronger in nature. I think wind and maybe some hail can't be ruled out. And then as I bring this out later into tomorrow evening, approaching the midnight time frame into the early morning hours of tomorrow, I do anticipate these storms to kind of continue to weaken as we do head into the morning hours of Friday here. So what's this look like for rainfall totals? Let me go back to this model here, and let me bring up the rainfall totals out through the morning hours of tomorrow. And I don't mind this with this system later into tonight here. You know, I think as it pulls through northeastern Illinois, you know, half inch, inch and a half can't be ruled out into those locations. There's some data which keeps the moisture to our north. So certainly a risk here. I would say the greatest uncertainty area is, you know, how far north the precipitation can stay. And then areas towards Kankakee, there's some data which maybe brings it a little bit further to the south into these areas here. But right now, I don't mind the solution as it stands now. I think this is pretty solid for northeastern Illinois heading later into the evening hours of today. And severe weather risk, again, I think wind and hail primary risk with any storms that roll through northeastern northern Illinois here. And you know, maybe an isolated tornado can't be ruled out, but again, I think that risk is rather secondary here. And then you can see the storms into tomorrow, more of a central southern Illinois deal with some of those scattered storms, especially getting into the afternoon hours of tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Another round of severe weather will be possible getting into tomorrow as well. And then as we head into the weekend here, guys, I'm going to show you the European. I think right now it shows the risk fairly well here. And you can see, let me kind of adjust my screen here for you guys. As we do head later into Friday night, Saturday morning, that's going to be in the next shot. We'll need to watch for some of these storms, especially along the Illinois-Missouri border. Those areas need to be on the lookout for a storm cluster to move through. Could bring in some heavy rain and some damaging wind gusts. Now, the threat to this, as we get into Saturday morning, here's a look as we get closer towards about the 10 a.m. time frame, would be for this to shift off to our south and to our west. There is some data which is a little bit further to the south, so that's something we'll have to continue to keep an eye on. But if you're into southern Illinois here, close towards the Illinois-Missouri border, kind of along I-70 and to the south here, at least need to continue to keep this risk on our back of our minds here moving forward. And you can see as we get into Saturday night, Sunday morning, this boundary shifts off to the south, continued storm development to southern Illinois. Maybe something spotty along the Illinois-Wisconsin border getting into Saturday night into Sunday morning as well. And then I think we clear out into the weekend, and then the work week into the following week, I think we could see some drier hours here across the state of Illinois. So, guys, that is it for your latest Illinois forecast update. One last thing I'm going to leave you with, guys, before I let you go here, and be sure to check out your weather portal for a little bit more information. The heat index values today will be very hot. You can see these feels like temperatures 100 plus will be possible the western half of the state. So, guys, let us know what questions you have. In the meantime, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll keep you guys posted.